SiriusXM has over 100 extra channels on the SiriusXM app, filled with ad-free music made for everything you do. Mashup channels, workout channels, channels for parties, or just chilling out and more. Expertly curated for any mood, occasion, or activity. Extra channels let you discover new music and enjoy even more variety from every decade and music style you love. Plus, you can watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows with SiriusXM Video. And you can do it all along with listening in your car as part of our music and entertainment plan. Right now, we're offering SiriusXM subscription plans for as low as $6 a month, plus fees and taxes. Call 844-711-8800 to find out more about these amazing offers.
SiriusXM Business Radio. Your business, your money, your life.
Marketing, expanding, and branding.
SiriusXM Business Radio.
SiriusXM Business Radio.
Your business, your money, your life.
Entrepreneurs, CEOs, and investors.
SiriusXM Business Radio.
To hear Business Radio, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or go to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly.
You can unlock the ultimate listening experience in up to 2 cars and stream anywhere with 2 app logins. Enjoy our greatest content, opportunities for live VIP experiences, and prioritized customer care. Plus, get access to over 5,000 audio and video concert recordings through nugs.net. Call 844-711-8800 and become a VIP. Offer details apply. Not available in Canada.
Connecting the music she loves.
Everything from Rosemary Clooney to Aerosmith.
The music she's inspired by.
The Queen, y'all, Aretha Franklin, possibly my biggest influence vocally.
And her own award-winning catalog.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That's what you're going to get here. So you're welcome in advance. My SiriusXM channel.
To hear the Kelly Clarkson Connection, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visiting SiriusXM.com/go.
There you go now.
I think everything.
Oh, I see. There you go now.
I think everything.
Oh, I see.
If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at equityzonemortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you, as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast.
Rumble the Podcast. Bonjour. Bitty bitty beaches. Let's get ready to rumble! Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe on a beautiful April the 1st, 2024. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them sit you where the good Lord split you, as well as driving a fleet of Cadillac cars. Really do appreciate that. What a great day. I hope that everybody had a wonderful Resurrection Day called Easter, if that makes sense to you. But also, at the same time, if you're like me and you ate 4 helpings of collard greens, you ate souffle, about 3 helpings of souffle, you ate about 4 helpings of some potato salad, and then you had some lamb, and then you had some ham, and then you got to give God the praise because I ate it all. I ate it all, but I got to walk it up to all spread another way for walking it up. I hope that everyone had a great Easter. I know I did with Big C Sports Podcast. It's always nice being around people that show you love and affection and give some praise to having love and affection for the holidays. Really do appreciate that. I want to say what I love about doing Basic Sports Podcast is so much. It's like having fourth for Easter. But why are you putting that food on the floor? No, I'm putting it all in my belly. Get in my belly now. If you like me for Easter, you were singing, get in my belly now. But at the same time, if you eat for help with the food, then sometimes you say your belly, get out. You got to be careful when you eat for help with the food. All spread love and work. I want to say with Basic Sports Podcast, I always produce the show. I direct the topics. I broadcast all the shows. I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We could all use more laughter and comment in our lives. And then the commercials are done. The stats are provided. I even do the storytelling. I do the play-by-play. We get Curry for 3. Yes! The great Jeff Curry. Someone saying that he might want to turn down, I think, $200 million. I think they must be on the audio fog in my spot. Now, he's not going to turn down $200 million to go pay for somebody else. And then the show's uploaded to 29 podcast platforms out of New York City. And I'm in Denver Hills, California. Really do appreciate being in Denver Hills, California. And then I never missed a show since creating Big C Sports with the crew back in the days at Salem Media. I mean, so many things have happened since that time, but never missed a show. Love what I'm doing with Big C Sports. Love giving God the praise. And tonight I won over $1 billion. Give that the praise. They said that Powerball was up to over $1 billion with his Big C Powerball, because I want to make sure I win it. In fact, I'm going to get my money. Do you want the payout? You want the annuity? Or do you want them to give you the money that comes in the form of 20-year payments? I say, give me the annuity. I can invest my own, if that makes sense to you. In fact, I know a guy. He said he can invest the money for me. Yeah, get yourself an estate planner first, and you make sure your name's on the. You don't need no power of attorney when you lose it like I am. Don't need no power of attorney. At the same time, you may need a power of attorney if you are a veteran. You go to the Veterans Crisis Hotline. I love giving it out on every Big C Sports podcast because they really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. You know anybody going through issues, pick up the phone, call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255, or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give us some praise because we all need somebody to lean on. And in fact, when somebody's leaning back, that's what I love about giving out praise. We all need that. And our Veterans Crisis Hotline is legit. They make sure that they do whatever they can to help veterans and their loved ones. I even call it myself. You don't have to be a veteran to get the help, but just call them if that makes sense to you. I do want to also say what I love about Big C Sports Podcast is I want to say I'm one of the only sports shows in the universe that always honors our reparations. The Reparations Crisis Hotline. You know, I just made it up. The Reparations Crisis Hotline, I would try to make it up, but I don't want to give it out. I am going to give it up. 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. If you need your reparations and you want your reparations now, call 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624 because of mine is a trouble thing to waste. But I do want to say that Big C Sports Podcast, I'm very proud of it because I think I'm one of the only sports shows in the universe that even knows that we do have a reparations task force in California. I know we have a task force because over the weekend, I got a text from President Joe Biden, and he was asking me for some money. I said, what? I thought sometimes my optometrist said I need to clean my contacts off at nighttime. If not, it may cake up a lot of stuff on the lenses I don't want to see as well. So I was saying, when I saw the text come through, it said, please donate some money to my campaign so I can get reelected. And now I said, wait a minute. I was saying, you got to know I'm telling the truth. I've been saying on every Big C Sports podcast that President Biden needs to do what President Abraham Lincoln said. And that's when I said, pay reparations now, pay reparations forever. And you know it's true if you listen to Big C Sports. I thought that it actually happened to me over the weekend. I'm going to tell you because they kept saying, we need your help for a re-election campaign. They were even asking for $20. You know how much gas, $20 budget? Not very much. But he was asking for $20. Now, I've been saying, I know he's listening to Big C Sports because haven't I been saying You need to give the descendants of chattel slavery some money. And I said, do it when? I said, do it now. I kid you not. Even on Easter, I got a text from the Biden administration. They were asking for some money. I said, wait a minute. You gave all the donation money to the Ukraine. If that makes sense to you. It should have been gone to the descendants of chattel slavery because I would have had the money to pay you that $20 if that makes sense to you. But just in case you misunderstood, some people told me I have CRS. I said, CRS? What's CRS? CRS says, I can't remember shit. Excuse me, the allergies are kicking my butt today. But you may know people who have CRS. And CRS is an acronym for can't remember shit. Woo! Those allergies are kicking my butt. But you know CRS when you see it. If that makes sense, yeah. But I want to pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force. And just before I do, some people told me, they said, Big C, I have a lot of older church buddies. They say, Big C, we listen to your show and we like your show, but we want to offer you a little constructive criticism. Would you like to have some constructive criticism? I said, it's better than destructive criticism. I'll take it. They said, could you talk a little bit faster? I said, what? They said, could you talk a little bit faster? Because some of our old guys, they have CRS and they can't remember. Excuse me. Some of the older guys, it's true, men. You too, ladies. As you get older, sometimes you just can't remember. Excuse me. Oh, Lord have mercy. But a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And that's why they got to find a cure for CRS. I found a cure for reparations. Oh, Lord have mercy. The California Reparations Task Force. And I love talking about this because it's so real. And you can't tell me it's not real because the Biden administration, they were sending me a text asking for money. Now, don't just say Biden because POTUS, they were sending me a request for money too. Isn't it something these millionaires are asking the mainstream for money? And then when Big C says that we deserve our reparations now, and some people say, oh, Big C, you must be out of your fucking mind. They're not going to pay you no reparations. And then the president just asked me to help him repair his campaign. I kid you not. He asked me for $20. 20? I guess that's a lot less than $1 million. But if you get all the people in the country to send you $20, that's a lot. Maybe they can start doing that for reparations. Because they believe in paying out $20. What if you just sent every descendant of the chattel slavery $20 every hour? That would be reparations. Give me some praise. I said, give me praise, praise, praise. Every descendant of the chattel slavery gets $20 every hour. Every day. To infinity and beyond. That could be reparations. It's an easier hamburger to chew on when you say give me $20 a day or $20 an hour than it is to say give me $1 million, if that makes sense to you. But I want to pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force because a mind is a trouble thing to waste. And don't worry, I will get in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings as well, and some March Madness or two. I want to thank the chair, Attorney Camila Moore. She's brilliant. I want to thank Dr. Amos C. Brown, the vice chair. He's brilliant. Love giving him praise. Got that package going out to him this week. I want to give praise to the Senator, California Senator Stephen Bradford. He's brilliant. Love giving him praise. Met him many times in his office and also at the Reparations Task Force. I want to give praise to Council Member Monica Montgomery-Steppe. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to give praise to Assembly Member Reginald Jones Sawyer. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I want to give praise to Dr. Shell Grills. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to give praise to our attorney, Lisa Holder. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to give praise to Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, professor at California, Berkeley. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I want to give praise to Attorney Donald K. Tamaki, part of the Reparations Task Force in California. He's brilliant. Give them all praise. I said give them all praise, praise, praise. I want to thank this is CNN, proud sponsor of the Big Six Sports Podcast. Love giving them praise. I want to give praise to Double O. She's part of the PF Committee for the National Black Wall Street Project. Has her own economic awareness talk show called Let's Eat. Like I was eating up those collard greens over the weekend. And she sent me this article on further advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities through the federal government. That's the White House. And now the White House asked me for $20 over the weekend. They sent it in a text. I guess that's what young people do. They text. Older people pick up the phone and call you, see how you're doing. The young people just text you, but they sent me a text. And I also want to thank Georgetown University, give them praise. They pledged over $1 billion accounting last year for descendants of chattel slavery. It was 272 families that were sold off to pay off the debts for Georgetown University. I want to thank Double O, part of the PAC committee for the National Black Wall Street Project, has our own economic awareness talk show called Let's Eat. Like I was eating up collard greens over the weekend. And it says from the United Nations that strong political leadership and strong political will are crucial to ensure reparatory justice for people of African descent. And that's the White House. You got to give that some praise. Give it praise, because that's important. We all know it's reparations to do, especially when the President of the United States is asking me for money. If I could, I would give you reparations. President Biden, I can do it for you. I know POTUS is asking his people to send him some money too. He's supposed to be a billionaire, but he's asking people for $20. At the same time, Bixie, what makes you credible to talk about reparations? I'm glad you asked, because there was an article written up about Big C Sports in the Associated Press. It was March 30, 2023. It said, California reparations amount. Charlton Curry of Sacramento, California, who discusses reparations on his Big C Sports podcast, says that cash payments are necessary. If you don't believe in cash payments being necessary, next time you got a check come and tell them don't pay you. Cash payments are necessary. That's why the Biden administration sent me to my text to send them some money. I kid you not. They asked me to send them some money. And I said I was going to send you some money when I got my reparations. But how can I send you money if I don't get my reparations? You got to see the irony of that. I know people love sports, and sports are great. It's $1 billion industry. Girls and girls sports is the foundation of the $1 billion industry. And money talks and BS walks. And when I've been saying on Big C Sports Podcast, asking the President, United States, to pay out reparations now, reparations forever. And some people said, man, you must be out of your fucking mind. The great Star Trek Spock, asking for reparations. And then the President asked me for some money. That's just opposed to giving me some money. I'm telling you, reparations are going to happen. That's why Senator Stephen Bradford, he presented to the California legislature Senate Bill 490. What's Senate Bill 490, Big C? Senate Bill 490 is to create Freedmen's Bureau of California. Just like Freedmen's Bank was created of 1860, I think it was 1865, for descendants of child of slavery to have a place to put their money into the banks, because the mainstream white banks wouldn't take the money. I mean, they'd take the money, but they wouldn't let you use the money, if that makes sense to you. So I love doing that with Big C Sports Podcast. I love more than just doing Who Won a Game. I want to thank Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, reparations now, reparations forever. And then he said that to be light. And I want to shine light on the world of reparations. But I want to say also, I'm so proud for people that want to have a guide to protect, preserve, and transfer wealth with RDC Consulting Inc. in conjunction with the law offices of Scott Thibodeau and George Jones. Long-term care by the book, The Missing Link, over 3 decades of experience, is Medicare and You, taking care of tomorrow, and healthcare coverage in California is called Medi-Cal. And why would we use that, Big C? Well, I'll tell you why. I'm glad you asked. Your family and spouse can avoid the spend down for nursing home costs. You can find out your options. Why do I want to have options, Big C? Why you just let me just do it on my own, Big C? A lot of times people want to do things on their own. But it's good when you can't do it on your own and you can't YouTube it, you go to a specialist. And our promise to you is to specialize to navigate and maximize long-term care benefits, protection of your assets without a spend down. I told you I'm working on a commercial, and I do it live. I don't do my commercials behind the screen where people can't see my mistakes. I do it live, like right now it's live. If I mess up, I don't redact it, I don't start over, I just keep going faster. Then you can't get it. So we specialize to navigate and maximize long-term care benefits. You know anybody that's ever dealt with long-term care benefits? We provide protection of your assets. Therefore, to avoid, without the spend down, all paperwork and communications with all government agencies are handled by our staff of entitlement specialists, ongoing consulting to provide updates as necessary, benefits covering skilled nursing facilities, prescriptions, medical equipment costs, and more. You know anybody taking prescriptions? You know anybody dealing with skilled nursing facilities? How about medical equipment costs? We also provide protection of your assets, if that makes sense. Because if you ever get a letter from the IRS, you better learn how to protect your assets. Because if you don't take care of the letter that comes from the IRS, they will come after your assets if that takes place, including your home, thereby allowing you to leave a legacy for your family, avoiding the nightmare of debt brought by the government's estate recovery program, which can be 10 to 40%, and a one-time processing fee versus monthly insurance premiums for the rest of your life. You got to get that some praise. That's what you get with Big C Sports and the RDC team. And the supplements that you get with Big C Sports and the RDC team, not only do you get that, but sometimes people say, well, Big C, why would we trust you? There are other people saying they do the same thing. Well, I'm glad you asked, because with the Big C team, we have endorsements that are credible. And that's important. When someone comes to you, they want to do asset protection, ask them who are their endorsements. Who endorses them? You know, RDC is endorsed by Attorney Scott Thibodeau and Attorney George Jones, chairman of the California Black Chamber of Commerce, California Black Chamber of Commerce Foundation. We have Mr. Leon Woods, Resource Development Consulting, works with the top lobbyists in California. We have Mrs. Cheryl Brown, the chair of the California Commission on Aging. We have Mr. Ray De La Cruz, the CEO of Resource Development Consulting, been doing this thing over 33 years. We have Mr. Alex De La Cruz, founder of American Veteran Benefits. That's important. And we have Charlton Curry, Business Development Manager of the RDC team with Big C Sports. You got to give that some praise. Give it praise, because we also offer protection, insurance coverage required by law, general liability, listen up companies, general liability, workers' compensation, lawyers specializing in living trust, Medicaid or Medi-Cal planning for long-term care, avoid probate, life insurance, veterans benefits, aid and attendance. That's important. We have a pre-planning and avoid the look-back period. We have fixed assets, your bank account, checking account, savings account, money market account, certificates of deposits, life insurance with cash values, fixed indexed annuities, variable assets, real estate, qualified money, IRA, 401k, and other investments. As I tell you, attention business owners, find out your other options to protect what your insurance does not cover. 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. And also, if you have a family member, if you are a family member, are suffering from CRS, what CRS, Big C, is when you can't remember. Oh, these allergies are so strong in California. Every time I try to do commercials, the allergy bug keeps up. If you have CRS, or if you or anyone you know is suffering from CRS, which is can't remember share, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624, because you may need to get a trust so they can take care of it. You gotta get us a break. Well, that's not commercial I'm thinking with it. It's not Aflac, because Aflac is a duck. We do have lamb. I know because I ate enough of it for Easter. If you have CRS and you can't remember how many plates of collard greens you ate, you may be suffering from CRS. What's CRS, Big C? It's when you can't remember. Excuse me. CRS. You can't remember something. I was sitting down with some colleagues today, and I gotta tell you, it came up just as it would out of the universe. Sometimes things just move. And I love covering NFL football. And NFL, for a lot of people, is great when you got that $10 million, $20 million contract. But also, it can be the opposite of that. The antithesis is when you have NFL, a lot like CRS. If you have CRS, you can't remember share. Excuse me. But what if you have NFL? People think, man, you must be balling. You have NFL? No, I used to have NFL. What happens if you lose NFL? When you don't have NFL, it means no finances left, means no fun left, it means no Foking noodles for lunch. What? What are Foking noodles? Well, if you have NFL, means no finances left. People have been through that situation, no finances left. You have no finances left, means you have no fun left. People have been through that, you have no finances, usually leads to no fun. If you have no finances, no fun, you also have no Foking noodles left. What Foking noodles? What's Foking noodles, Big C? If you've ever eaten too much of anything, and the waiter says, Excuse me, can I get you something else to eat? You said, I have no more room in my stomach for forky noodles. It's a restaurant, people. It's called forky noodles. If you don't have money, if you don't have finances left, you can't afford forky noodles. If you don't have finances, you have no forking fun. Give me some praise. I told you I'm doing my commercial all live. I love what I do with Big C Sports and RDC. And as I tell you, well, that's my story, and I'm taking with it. I want to give that some praise. Give it praise. Because everybody has, at some point in life, you just need someone to help you cross the street. You need someone to hold your hand and get across the street. But at the same time, you don't want to close your eyes going across the street. I want to just acknowledge California Black media advocating for media in California. And there's a lot of opportunities for people to learn what maybe mainstream doesn't always tell you. And you need that. And I love talking about the media outlets that are working along with Big C Sports and also getting information out there so that people can understand what's going on in the world of all the things that happen to do with business. And if you think about it, if you have media that reaches out to tell people about the things that are important to them, we need to get that out there as much as possible. And that's what I love about the California Black media. When you think about it, they're going to tell you that there are times when you can go to mainstream media and learn about things that are out there to get your information, but there are also times when you don't learn about those things that benefit a lot of people, especially African Americans. And so you say, what is California Black media? I'll tell you what it is. It's a network that has more than 30 media outlets across California facilities, and communication among members of the Black press, and provides unique opportunities for collaboration and coordination. When you think about how powerful the network is, California Black media, and oftentimes people may not know about it, but you have the network you need to connect with California Black communities. It's called the Black Voice News, as a newspaper that publishes in the spirit of the Black press, and the Black Voice has news that's given voices to the voiceless and shine a light on systemic inequities and disparities since 1972. Inland Valley News is a part of that. Inland Valley News, the heart of the Inland Valley, Southern California, since 1992. And that's important. Also, LA Focus newspaper. LA Focus is the newspaper spotlighting news and issues of interest into Los Angeles African American communities. At the same time, Our Weekly, Los Angeles. Our Weekly, Los Angeles was formed in 2004 as a means to reach the affluent African American communities of Los Angeles with in-depth coverage and issues pertaining to African Americans in the communities. FM 102.3 FM. Think about that. That's KJLH. And that's a radio. It's free. Is where radio free means total music expression serving the Los Angeles urban community. At the same time, that's so important. It's so important. West Side Stories newspaper. At West Side Stories newspaper, the motto is news of the empire, sharing the quest for excellence to strive to provide quality information and coverage for news pertaining to those in the Inland Empire. Antelope Valley Observer, the Bakersfield News Observer, the Bay Area Review, Beach City Radio, Black and Magazine, the California Advocate, and more. Empire Talks Back, God One Radio, Indian Voices, Inglewood Today, LA Watch Times, Long Beach Times, Los Angeles Observer, Los Angeles Sentinel, and the Los Angeles Standard, the Oakland Post Group, Pace News, Pasadena Journal. This on and on and on. But you know what you get with that? You get to learn about the Big C team. Give that some praise. It's so important. I love putting on the shirt because oftentimes people don't do it. I want to make sure that with RDC and Big C, you get a feel of things that are going on in the country, and we want to make sure that we talk to business owners and individuals about how to put your matters into a trust. By the book, Civil Rights, Land and the Law, 1966, Lyndon Baines Johnson was the president then. Right up by his side was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And they talked about the need for a living trust. We want to make sure that people get that. So it's not just Big C Sports. And when you talk about reparations, and people say they love Dr. King, but they don't believe in reparations, and then President Biden is sending me a text saying, give me some money. I said, what? And then I got it like every day, even got it on Easter, asking me for money. Like the money I won tonight in the Powerball, over $1 billion. You can imagine reparations have been asking the administration for money. really from 1865, and now the administration is reaching out to people by text saying, give me some money. To me, you got to give that some praise because they know they're not owed reparations. But instead of paying out reparations, they're asking for money to keep the campaign going. I told you want to guarantee you get reelected, sign reparations in the law. Big C's been telling you that for over a year now. But I also said they're going to wait until the back nine or the bottom of the ninth, and they're going to come in with the closer. The closer? Who's the closer, Big C? The closer is a person that comes in and says, you need to offer reparations now. You need to offer reparations forever. That's the closer. Don't wait till the bottom of the ninth in a baseball game to bring in the closer. If you're pushing reparations right now, the people who are going to vote for you, they're going to vote for you in droves. The people who are not going to vote for you, they're not going to vote for you anyway. No matter who you are. If you understand the big voting bloc, the United States, descendants of chattel slavery, called the black vote. They're always asking for it. But now they're sneaking around. You know how if you do something and you promise somebody you're going to do something for them and you don't do it, and then you lose the courage to go face them and say, you know what, I made a mistake. In fact, I lied to you. And I'm sorry, will you forgive me? Most people will forgive you, but when you suck in a driving and you think they're stupid, and then you come to them with a text message asking for what you should have asked for in person, but that well runs dry when you keep asking, you don't replace it with anything. You suck all the water out of a well, then you have a dry land. You got to put water back into that land so the well works again. The well is called the black vote. It's a monolithic vote. And you know it. It got you in office last time. And now instead of saying you want to pass reparations, you're asking people to donate money to you. For what? You signed Executive Order 13985. Where's my reparations? Don't think I'm just talking. Before I get into sports, and I know some of you only want to hear touchdown, home run, three-point play. Old man Willie, he's going all the way. I want to play you the best picture in the history of the universe. Remember, as the White House is asking me for money, what Dr. King and President Abraham Lincoln said you should do, and then we have the money to give you. Listen up.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. Now, this is what we are faced with, and this is a reality. Now, when we come to Washington in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
Now, you got to give us some praise. You can't tell me that it's just Big C Sports, because I'm telling you, as I was getting requests for money from the current administration, you heard what Martin Luther King Jr. was espousing the same thing that President Abraham Lincoln espoused. Where's the check? Because had you paid reparations, you would have already had donations from the people that put you in office. That's just common sense to me. It's not just me. You heard Dr. King himself. So there are a lot of people. They say, oh, we love Dr. King. That we shall overcome someday. We shall overcome someday. It's as if some people in the White House have CRS and they can't remember shit. Excuse me, my allergies kicking in at the inappropriate time. But if you know anyone in your family that says they owe you money, but they don't pay you back money, and then they come back to ask for more money, they may be suffering from CRS. What's CRS, Big C? It's when you can't remember shit. Oh, these allergies. I'll tell you I'm trying to fight these allergies. But you know, if you love Dr. King, you just got to give that some praise and quit saying that you don't have a way to pay reparations when you're giving reparations to almost everybody else. Everybody else except for the people that put you in office. That's the truth. And the Big C told you they can wait till the back nine before they start coming in offering what they're going to do. You can do it now. When you owe somebody money, you pay them now. You know who you owe. If your word is good, pay the reparations. If not, you may be too late to bring in the closer of a baseball game. You know what the closer does? He makes sure you win. And Big C, how do I know this stuff? I'm telling you, if you want to win, you do things now. You got to know who's on your side. You got to know who's not on your side. People who are on your side, they don't make you wait till the last minute. If people on your side, they tell you they love you now. In fact, they don't tell you, they show you. And if you pay the reparations, like Lincoln signed it, reparations, Emancipation Proclamation, if you do that, you won't have to go around begging Big C for $20. Does that make sense? $20, it barely moves the needle on a gas tank. $20, you can't even buy a pair of tennis shoes for $20. The $20 is like minimum wage now at fast food restaurants in California. That's when I go to buy the Big C burger. It has 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, and collard greens on a sesame seed bun. It almost costs $20. In some restaurants, it does cost $20. But $20 is not a lot of money unless you don't have it. If you want reparations to pass and congruent with you getting reelected, you get the answers in your hand. It's called a pen. You do executive order, you sign reparations into law. The same way you gave money to the Ukraine. You're not asking the Ukraine citizens to give you $20 to help you run for reelection, but you are sending text out to Black Americans, African Americans. Now, if I'm standing in line and there's 2 lines, play along with me. If you're in 2 lines, no matter what color you are, in line 1, they give you $100 billion. Just follow along with me. In line 2, they ask you for $20. How does it make sense to come back to that same line and the people you've given no money to, you're asking them for more money? But the people you gave $100 billion to, you're not asking them to help you get reelected. How does that make sense? Spock, are the audio bargain mine? You may have CRS, Spock. I know I used to watch Star Trek. I consider myself a Trekkie. Not many people can use the V shape of their hand like Spock, live long and prosper. But when Spock was out of his bargain mind, then Captain Kirk would say, Spock, are the audio bargain mine? Well, think about that when someone has 2 lines. In one line, they give you over $100 billion. In the second line, they ask you for $20. When they come back asking for your support, which one makes more sense? To stand in line of the people you gave $100 billion to? Or stand in the line where you're asking people for more money? That gets old. That's my story, and I'm taking with it. Give that some praise. I said, give it praise, praise, praise. That's my story, I'm taking with it. So, and I say, NFL stands for National Football League, but it can also stand for no finances left, no fun left. That means you can't go out to get some Bo King noodles. If that makes sense to you. Because those Bo King noodles cost a lot of money. No Bo King noodles. They have a great restaurant in Northern California called Bo King Noodles. I didn't understand what it were. When one lady I knew, she said, you want to go get some pho? I said, excuse me? We're driving on a sales appointment. She said, would you like to go get some pho? I said, well, no, not really. She said, you don't want pho? I said, well, no, I don't. I really don't. I just want to go make a sale. She said, well, how about you take me to go get some pho? I said, why would I take you to go get some of that? She said, because I'm hungry. I said, I'm hungry too. She said, so you don't want pho? I said, I'm just hungry. I just want to eat. She said, well, why don't you drop me off to get some pho-king noodles? She said, then she named off some restaurants. I didn't know what she meant at first, but I thought she's meaning something that's more personal than that. So she said, do you want a pho? I said, no, I just want to go make a sale. But now that I've had some pho-king noodles, I want some more pho-king noodles. That's a break. Sometimes I have a speech impediment, but there's times I hang out with people who also have a speech impediment. You have to be careful. But at the same time, if you don't have a speech impediment and you understand that, you can give me some praise. I'm doing all this stuff live. I don't stick nothing on myself. So sometimes I make some pho-king mistakes. But it's not a mistake if I don't tell you. Pho-king noodles. I want to get to 2024 March Madness. You think about how great this is. This has been a year where the underdog has a chance with March Madness, and now we have down to the Final Four. For all the great people that picked their brackets and your bracket did not round out, you made a pho-king mistake. And now there are people who lost money in the March Madness election because they just picked the wrong teams that were going to get to March Madness. But now we have it set for the Final Four, and I just hope that we have good basketball because these players, they work so hard to get there. We have, coming out of the South, the North Carolina State, the Wolfpack. They were a number 11 seed. A number 11 seed coming out of the South, when for the most part, myself included, coming out of the South, I thought Houston was going to win. And they were knocked off by Duke, number 4 seed Duke. And then I don't think many people had North Carolina State, number 11 seed, beating number 2 seed Marquette. But they did it. It was North Carolina State 67, Marquette 58. And they advanced to play Duke, number 4 Duke, that had knocked off number 1 Houston. And they did it again. It was number 11 North Carolina State 76, and number 4 seed Duke is 64. And now they head to Arizona for the Final Four. You got to give them the praise. Not many people gave them an 11 seed, and then you go to the Midwest. Now, Midwest, it worked out the way people thought it would. We have the Purdue Boilermakers out of the Big Ten Conference, NC State's out of the ACC, but Purdue, they took on number 2 Tennessee, and Purdue won 72-66. So they knocked off Tennessee, and that game was played in Detroit. In the Midwest bracket, in the South bracket, was played in Dallas. So you have Purdue number 1 seed, and they knock off number 2 seed Tennessee, and so Purdue heads to the Final Four. You got to give that some praise. Give them praise. Purdue was knocked out of March Madness last year in the first week, if that makes sense, to their first game. They lost to the 16 seed. And so as we go to the West bracket, I was wrong about the West bracket. I thought Arizona would come out of it, but they lost to Clemson a couple weeks ago. So in the West bracket, you had number 6 Clemson, and they're out of the ACC versus number 4 seed Alabama. Alabama's out of the SEC. It was Alabama 89, Clemson 82. And so Alabama, not only are they a football powerhouse, now they're a basketball team. For the first time in over 20 years, they made it back to the Final Four. And so Alabama, congratulations for them. How about those elephants? They call the Crimson Tide, but they get into March Madness. And then I got in the East champion, where the West was played in Los Angeles, the East bracket was played in Boston. And I got number 1 that I picked to win the whole thing. I have UConn, defending national champions. I think they're going to repeat. And they knocked off Illinois out of the Big Ten. It was 77-52, a 25-point beatdown. All their wins have been double-digit wins. But now they have Alabama, which is a very athletic team, and they can get up and down the floor like the best of them. And Alabama's a high-scoring team. When you look at Alabama and coming into the bracket, they scored 89 points against North Carolina, beat them 89-87. And then they scored 89 against Clemson, beat them 89-82. And then prior to that, Alabama scored 72 against Grand Canyon. And then prior to that, Alabama, they scored 109 points. But Alabama, I don't think you can say that they're the best team. in college basketball. They're not even the SEC champion. At the same time, if you look at what Alabama's able to do, they can put a lot of points on the board. If anything, they can do to UConn what a lot of teams have not done, which is score a lot of points. Now, I don't think Alabama's going to beat UConn, and I don't even think they're going to come within 10. But if there's a team that can, it would be Alabama. So if I look at UConn, what got them here? They're just dominant. Look at what UConn has done. Number 1 seed, they beat Stetson 91-52, and then they beat Northwestern 75-58. And then they played San Diego State in a rematch of last year. They won 82-52, a 30-point win. And not only that, they took care of Illinois, 77-52. They're a dominant team, 25-point win. And now they face Alabama. It's hard to stay within 10 points of UConn. And I don't think Alabama's going to stay within 10 points of them. I think Alabama wins that game. And I think they go on to play for the national championship. So right now, how do you go against North Carolina State? I mean, they have a solid team. I know Purdue is very big and athletic, and they score in the 80s for the most part. They scored 72 against Tennessee, 80 against Gonzaga. They beat Gonzaga 80-68, and they beat Utah State 106-67. They can score a lot of points. Purdue, they beat Grambling earlier to start 78-50. But now, they have a team in NC State that's just big and physical team. A big physical basketball team. 76 points they scored against Duke. And then they scored 67 against Marquette. And part of that, they scored 79 against Oakland. They're not a dominant team. They scored, when you look at what they did over Texas Tech, it was 80-67. But Purdue's a big physical team, and so is North Carolina State. But I got to go there. Purdue was number 1 for a reason. The number 1 seed, even though they did not win the Big Ten, they came into the tournament bracket as a favorite to win their region, to be a number 1 seed. They came in 29-4. And then they go into the March Madness, Final Four, and they've done everything people thought they would do. They didn't get upset like they did last year. But I think they have too much firepower for NC State. And I look at a March Madness that will have a Purdue and UConn playing for the national championship. Give that some praise, whether I'm right or wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll say I have CRS. What CRS can be? It's when, if you know anybody, you can't find their car keys, they can't find their cell phone, they may be suffering from CRS. What's CRS, Big C? It's when you can't remember sheriff. Oh. Say it one more time. CRS. Oh my goodness! If you know in life, in life there are times we don't plan for the worst because we think we're inevitable or we're invincible. Nothing's ever going to happen to us. If you go through life, you got to realize that every person on this planet, you're going to go through some things in life. If you have the right things set up in place for you, and you get to a point in life where you can't remember things, sometimes you just can't remember. Yeah, excuse me. It's allergies, folks. I'm not saying bad words. But sometimes I just can't remember. But get your trust in order. Don't wait until it's too late. Get a revocable trust. It becomes irrevocable at the time of passing. We all need that protection in life. You get it with the 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. I work with a lot of professional athletes as well as business owners and clergy. If you're in real estate or the insurance business and you're tired of going to those conventional meetings where they say this guy sold 10 policies and he made $15,000, giving them praise, and they're all clapping for him. They're all clapping. The guy goes across the stage, you get a hole in the bottom of his shoe. They didn't build him that way. I'm not knocking anybody, but those rah clapping for somebody that made some money, you're sitting there, and you got $2 in your pocket, trying to borrow $20 to get home. I met some people like that. I've seen them. Quit shucking and jiving. If you realize the benefit of working with the Big C team, I told you, a guide to protect, preserve, and transfer wealth. We have lawyers, some of the top lawyers in California that work with us. long-term care solutions by the book, over 3 decades of experience. We have some of the top endorsements in California. California Chair, Commission on Aging, top lawyers, California Black Chamber of Commerce, also work with some of the top lobbyists in California. We have endorsements from people high up in the state of California. Secretary of State, Shirley Weber. We have endorsements of some of the political leaders, even Marshall Dr. King, Dr. Amos C. Brown. We have people that have seen what we're doing, they want to know more. And now, with the RDC team, we have, for our veterans, aid in attendance. How do you get the long-term care? How do you get pre-planning to avoid the look-back period? 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624. You got to get that some praise. I told you I'm not just stuck in the driving. I believe in stuck in the driving. I want to do the best I can to talk about these things. Because of time, I'm trying to talk faster, like some of my older friends, my older church buddies. They say, Big C, we love your show, but sometimes you could use a little constructive criticism. I said, I don't mind constructive criticism. It's better than destructive criticism. They say sometimes you talk too slowly. Because as you get older, sometimes you can't hold your loins as long. You gotta go to the restroom 2 or 3 times every hour. And those guys say, if you could just talk faster, maybe we could get to the whole show. I said, maybe you could take the Big C Sports podcast to the bathroom with you. As long as you're not doing a number 2. You can take the Big C Sports podcast with you. Yeah, that's a praise. What's number 2? None of your business. If you don't know about now, yeah, that's your business. None of your business. If that makes sense, yeah. I just want to say, I love what I'm doing with the Big C team and RDC. A guide to protect your assets. It may be news in California now. We heard about the CalPERS, and CalPERS paid an $800 million settlement over claims that it misled retirees on the cost of long-term care insurance. I'll say that again. That came out March 20th, 2023. CalPERS to pay $800 million settlement over claims that it misled retirees on the cost of long-term care insurance. Well, how do you know that, Big C? 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. The California Public Employees Retirement System, called CalPERS, headquartered in Sacramento, California. Think about that. It's so important. In fact, it's so important, I want you to hear something. Listen to this with your own ears. You want to get this with the Big C team.
CalPERS to pay $800 million settlement over claims it misled retirees on costs of long-term care insurance. Lee este artículo en español. CalPERS is preparing to pay out roughly $800 million to settle claims that it misled retirees when it began offering long-term care insurance in the late 1990s and pledged it wouldn't substantially raise rates on certain plans. The nation's largest public pension fund in the 1990s and early 2000s sold long-term care insurance with so-called inflation protection that members believed would shield them from dramatic spikes in premiums. CalPERS nonetheless hiked long-term care insurance rates by 85% in 2012 and continued to raise fees in subsequent years, straining household budgets for retirees on fixed incomes. The settlement, tentatively approved by a Los Angeles Superior Court judge earlier this month, would resolve a lawsuit that centers on that steep 2012 fee increase. The settlement cannot take effect until plaintiffs in the class action lawsuit review it and have an opportunity to submit comments to the court on it in a process that's expected to take place between April and early June, according to court records. The California Public Employees Retirement System pays for long-term care out of a specific fund that is separate from the $443 billion portfolio that supports pensions for its 2 million members. The long-term care fund had about $4.9 billion as of June and about 105,000 active policies, according to CalPERS. The agreement is the second court-approved settlement in the case. It is significantly less expensive for CalPERS than the first one. The previous agreement would have cost CalPERS as much as $2.7 billion and required retirees to drop their long-term care plans in exchange for payments of as much as $50,000 apiece. Thousands of retirees chose security over cash and rejected that agreement because they wanted to retain to long-term care insurance, according to attorneys representing the plaintiffs. Under the new agreement, retirees who want to cancel their long-term care insurance will receive 80% of the premiums they paid into CalPERS long-term care fund. That could amount to tens of thousands of dollars for retirees. The settlement does not cap how much money a policyholder can receive. Members of the class who want to keep their long-term care insurance will receive $1,000 and a commitment from CalPERS that their rates will not increase until November 2024. About 79,000 households stand to benefit from the settlement, including relatives of deceased policyholders, said Stuart Talley, an attorney for the plaintiffs. In total, about $740 million will go to the plaintiffs, while another $80 million will go to lawyers and administrative fees. He said the new agreement strikes a sort of balance between policyholders who want to drop their plans because of the fee increases and others who want assurances that CalPERS long-term care fund is able to pay benefits. Really what...
You know, I just want to say, you can get that from praise. You can get it praise. You get that on the Big C Sports team with RDC 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624.
Really what they're getting is a program that is financially viable and solvent and will be there in the future for them, he said. The average age in the class is 76 and 14,846 members of the lawsuit have died since the litigation began, according to the settlement order. Attorneys estimate another 9,000 could die before seeing any benefit from the lawsuit if the case proceeds to trial and takes more than 2 years to resolve. There are so many people who want out of this program. Even though this isn't the greatest settlement in the world, I think it's best to move forward, Talley said. Insurers misjudged long-term care market. CalPERS began offering long-term care insurance in an era when the public pension fund was flush and confident it could earn 8% returns on investments. It marketed long-term care plans with inflation protection, giving members the impression they could lock in cheap insurance without risk of significant rate hikes. Rates increased incrementally before the 85% jump in 2012, which was brought on by lower than expected investment earnings and higher than projected expenses.
How do you find out how you or your loved ones can learn to protect your assets? A guide to protect, preserve, and transfer wealth. You only get this with Big C Sports. You don't get it on ESPN. You don't get it on Fox Sports, NBC Sports, CBS Sports, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. If you know anyone that you care about and they've been dealing with how to protect and preserve and transfer wealth, they need to call 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624, and this is why. Listen for more.
The increase led many CalPERS members to opt for lesser coverage to limit their costs, according to court records. CalPERS was not the only provider to misjudge the market when it began offering those plans. AARP in a 2018 report noted that more than 100 carriers sold those policies in the 1990s, a number that shrank to about 15. In fact, last year's settlement agreement called for CalPERS and the plaintiffs' attorneys to seek a replacement plan for members who wanted long-term care insurance from another provider. Their brokers approached more than 90 insurers and could not find a company to take on the new customers, according to settlement documents. It's a toxic product for insurers, and CalPERS in 1995 decided to jump in with both feet, Talley said. If the case had gone to trial, CalPERS was expected to argue that it raised rates in 2012 because of change in its expected investment earnings and that members who reduced their benefits because of the 85% increase did not suffer financial harm, according to a summary of the settlement that will be mailed to policyholders in April. CalPERS has not sold new long-term care policies since 2020, citing
800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. Find out your other options to protect and preserve your assets. And that's why I say, with the Big C team, you only learn this on Big C Sports. I'm going to let you listen up to the next minute and 30 seconds.
Citing uncertainty in the market. It also recently adopted 2 big rate increases, a 52% hike in November 2021 and a 25% jump in November 2022. What CalPERS plans cost? Today the average monthly premium for a CalPERS long-term care policy is $280.41, according to CalPERS. Talley's clients bought policies in the 1990s for as little as $60 a month. He said it's common for them to pay upwards of $400 a month today. CalPERS declined an interview request about the settlement, but provided written information about the status of the long-term care fund. Matt Jacobs, CalPERS General Counsel, at a court hearing earlier this month said the long-term care fund would remain solvent after the settlement, according to a transcript. The new settlement reflects the parties' work to provide policyholders who are counting on their policies to provide critical care with a choice to keep their policies, he said in a press release about the agreement. We believe this new settlement resolves what are very complex issues in a fair and equitable manner. At the hearing, Superior Court Judge William Heiberger characterized the settlement as not the happiest of outcomes, because it's a compromise. One of the consequences of the settlement is the hideously inaccurate actuarial data which some of the original pie-in-the-sky marketing materials were based on will all go in the rear-view mirror and be gone and released, he said. Everybody going forward is going to have a clear-eyed view. This plan is going to run on a basis that is economically solvent without regard to what was said 20-plus years ago when it was first offered.
And that's why you give Big C Sports some praise, because I'm not taking a job with you. I'm letting you know these things are real. 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. And just ask the question how you protect and preserve your assets. That's important. That's more important than touchdown, over, three-point play. Old man Willie, he's going all the way. That's what I love with the Big C team in RDC. Well, that's my story, and I'm going to take it with it. As I always tell you, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink, because mothers against drunk drivers are mad, and fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You can call Uber, you can call Lyft, you can walk it off, you can sleep it off, but don't let some of your loves get behind the wheel of the car and start driving after they've been drinking. The life you save may be your own, or some of your love. That's my story, and I'm thinking with it. My beautiful mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No one, no man, woman, or child should ever have to deal with somebody going upside your head. Anybody that loves you, they don't slap you. If somebody loves you, they don't hit you. Call 911. You need more LEADA in your life. LEADA is an acronym for love as the answer. Anybody that loves you, they don't go, I'm only hitting you because you made me mad. I'm only hitting you because you said the wrong thing to me. Call 911. No one should ever have to go deal with that crap on their own. That's my story, and I'll take it with it. As I always tell you, on every Big C Sports show, back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He's known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, and you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali said, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat. Every time I listen to Big C Sports, I think reparations now, reparations forever. Then I float like a butterfly, and I sting like a bee. There's no one greater than Muhammad Ali. As I always tell you, I honor President Abraham Lincoln and Dr. King. You heard him say it. What did he tell Joe Biden to do? Instead of asking Big C for $20, how about you sign reparations now? Sign reparations forever. You gotta sign reparations now. Sign reparations forever. Come on, say it like the heart, mind, body, and soul really believe it. You see it before you see it. Sign reparations now. Sign reparations forever. I thank you. I appreciate you. And I hope that you have a super fantastic day.